Eto na ang programang magiging gabay mo upang ikaw ay matuto. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela. Makinig at matuto. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela. Alternatibong programang handog ng DepEd Soxergen na kahit saan ka man ay matututo ka. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela.
Naguguluhan, nalilito. Paano ba kung matututo?
Good day to our grade 10 students. This is your school on the air in grade 10 English. We are glad to be learning with you through radio. I am Miss Hera Joy Alcahoy from Buayan National High School. Make sure that you are in your most comfortable place and can clearly hear our broadcast. Have you eaten your meal? In order for you to learn and understand our lesson this day properly, it would be better if you have already eaten your meal. Hello, grade 10 students! Last time, we talked about denotative and connotative meaning of words. This time, I want you to get your self-learning module. Our new lesson is analyzing characterization based on the story How Odin Lost His Eye. To start the lesson, let's have first a short exercise. Look at activity 3.1 of page 11 of your self-learning module. Explain how the words in the boxes relate to your characteristics as a person. Then, answer the process questions 1 to 3. I will give you 2 minutes to answer that. I guess everyone has finished the activity. Let us now be ready to learn our new lesson. Our lesson 3, module 5 is about analyzing characterization based on the story How Odin Lost His Eye. Knowledge gaining process always requires a sacrifice. In the story we are about to discuss, God Odin could not grab the entirety of universal wisdom himself, but he needed to give up some things in exchange. Some people now prefer their comfort zone and believe that the difficult task is not worth the try. However, Odin presented the opposite. He proved that he chased after what set his heart on fire no matter what price he had to pay for. It also reveals to us his true nature and the guiding belief that no sacrifice is too great for true wisdom. At this time, I would like you to open your self-learning module on page 12. There you can now see the story that you are going to read. It is entitled How Odin Lost His Eye. Now let us read together. How Odin Lost His Eye. Once when the world was still very young, Odin sat on his throne in the most beautiful palace in Asgard. His throne was so high that he could see over all three parts of the world from where he sat. On his head, he wore a helmet shaped like an eagle. On his shoulders perched two black ravens called Memory and Thought. And at his feet crouched two snarling wolves. The great king gazed thoughtfully down on the earth below him. He had made the green land that stretched out before his eyes. With the help of the other gods, he had made men and women who lived on that earth. The fair elves had promised they would help his children off the earth. The elves were the tiny people who lived between heaven and earth. They were so small that they could flit about doing their work unseen. Odin knew that they were the artists who painted the flowers and made the beds for the streams. They took care of all the bees and the butterflies. And it was the elves who brought the gentle rain and sunshine to the earth. Even the ugly dwarves who live in the heart of the mountains agreed to help. They forged irons and metals, made tools and weapons. They dug gold and silver and beautiful jewels out of the earth. Sometimes they even caught the grain and ground the flour for the farmers on the earth. All seemed to be going well. Odin found it hard to think of evil times, but he knew that the frost giants were only waiting for a chance to bring trouble to his children. They were the ones who brought cold and ice to the world and shook the earth in anger. They hated Odin and all the work of the gods. And from high on his throne, Odin looked down beyond the earth deep into the gloomy land of his enemies. He saw dark figures of huge men moving about. They looked like evil shadows. He, the king of the gods, must have more wisdom. It was not enough just to see his enemies. He must know more about them. So, Odin wrapped his tall figure in a blue cloak. Down from his throne, he climbed. Down the broad rainbow bridge, he strode and across the green earth till he came to one of the roots of the great evergreen tree. There, close by the tree, was a well full of clear water. Its surface was so still, it was like a mirror. In it, one could see pictures of things that had happened and things that were going to happen. But beside the well sat an old man. His face was lined with the troubles of the world. His name was Mimir, which means memory. No one, not even the great Odin, could see the pictures in the well unless he first drank some of its water. Only Mimir could give the magic drink.
Age Mimir,
Odin said to the old man,
you who hold the knowledge of the past and future in your magic waters, let me have but one sip. Then I can know enough to protect the men and women of the earth from the hate of the giants.
Mimir looked kindly at Odin, but he did not smile. Although he spoke softly, his voice was so deep, it reminded Udin of the distant roar of the ocean. The price of one drink from this well is not cheap, Mimir said, and once you have drunk and gazed into the mirror of life, you may wish you had not, for sorrow and death as well as joy are pictured there. Think again before you ask to drink. You are great and good, Udin, answered Mimir. You have worked hard to make the world. Only those who know hard work may drink from a well. However, that is not enough. What have you given up that is very dear to you? What have you sacrificed? The price of a drink must be a great sacrifice. Are you still willing to pay the price? Udin put his hands up to his bright blue eyes. Those two eyes had gazed across the world from his high throne in the shining city of the gods. His eyes had taught him what was good and beautiful, what was evil and ugly. But those eyes had also seen his children, the men and women of the earth, struggling against the hate of the giants. One eye was a small sacrifice to win knowledge of how to help them, and without another thought, Udin plucked out one of his blue eyes and handed it to Mimir. Then Mimir smiled and gave Udin a horn full of the waters of his well. Drink deeply, brave king, so you may see all that you wish in that mirror of life. Udin lifted the horn to his lips and drank. Then he knelt by the edge of the well and watched the pictures passing across its still and silent surface. When he stood up again, he sighed, for it was as Mimir had said. He had seen sorrow and death as well as joy. It was only the glorious promise at the end that gave him courage to go on. So, Udin, the great king of the gods, became one-eyed. If you can find Mimir's well, you will see Udin's blue eye resting on the bottom. It is there to remind the men and women of the great sacrifice he made for them. Now we are back. We have heard the story of how Udin lost his eye. And now, let's answer the following questions on your answer sheet. Number 1. What is the problem in the story? Who are involved in the problem? Number 2. What actions were attempted at solving the problem in the story? How did this action result to? Number 3. What was the final solution arrived at by the characters involved in the story? And number 4. Was there any indication of the character rebuilding or restoring relationship with other characters after the conflict in the story? Support your answer. For that, I will give you 3 minutes to answer the questions. Shall we proceed now to the next task, activity 3.3? What is it? This is all about plot and conflict analysis. You have just intently studied the story of how Udin lost his eye. Focus on the plot structure of the story and analyze the conflict experienced by the main character Udin. Fill out the worksheet below in your answer sheet. Question number 1. Did you feel you were part of the story? Yes or no? Explain your answer. Number 2. Were you able to predict the ending? Yes or no? Explain your answer. Number 3. What was your favorite part of the story? Explain your answer. Number 4. What type of conflict or conflicts did the author create? Check one or more. Character versus nature, character versus self, character versus society, or character versus character. Question number 5. What was the most important conflict in the story? Number 6. What was the main character or the protagonist trying to accomplish? And number 7. How was the main conflict resolved? I will give you 5 minutes to answer the questions. I guess we're done with activity 3.3. And now, let's proceed to the other activity, which is activity 3.4. Character examination. Go back to the story of how Dean lost his eye, and in your answer sheet, fill out the character examination graphic organizer to analyze his character and examine the conflicts with which he is caught up in the play. I presume that you are done with the activity. What do you have learned now? I want you to write your own reflection about the lesson you have learned. Just make it brief by writing the paragraph in 3 to 5 sentences. For activity 3.3 and activity 3.4 of your self-learning module, your subject teacher will be the one to check that. Class, are you still with me? Okay, let's proceed. Based on your reflection, at this time, you're going to write again a short paragraph showing the importance of one's character or traits that a person should possess to become successful in life. I hope that you find our lesson worth learning and somehow you can gain valuable lessons which are applicable in your life as you continue your journey in this world. That ends our short quiz for today. Have you answered all the questions, students? Make sure that you have written all the important details in your 1/2 sheet of paper. If you have more questions, please do not hesitate or include to write it down. If you have any questions or would like to clarify, please write them down as well. This ends our discussion for today. Another lesson has been learned and understood. To further enhance your understanding on the lesson, please read your handout. You will be notified by your subject teacher through text message for more information and clarification. You can also send your activity to your teacher's email or send a message through Facebook. Make sure to stay tuned in our School on the Air. Till next time, this has been your teacher, Ms. Heronjoy L. Cahoy. Always remember to study well. Have a great day ahead, everyone. God bless. Goodbye.
gabayan ng mga aralin, mga gawain siguradong kagigiliwan. Oras na, alisto na, halina't makinig at matuto sa